We built a house in North Carolina, and there was a lot of storms that would hit North Carolina, hurricanes. And Wendy and I said that our kids are going to be part of that building process. So we had the kids dig the foundations and the footings underneath their bedrooms. And then we built the house on top of those. And it was very purposeful in that if a storm came, they knew that they had been through that tough part, but yet that had made the house stronger and it made them stronger, and they could handle that storm better.
I can't say 2 words about Townsend without talking about his family, because he won't say 2 words about Townsend before he talks about his mom and his dad and the life that they've given. His dad is an Air Force pilot.
Because of his job, we moved around quite a bit. And in regards to sports, when it came to us moving, that meant I was on a bunch of different sports teams.
He would have to reintroduce himself to a whole new group of people, teams, classrooms, all of that every time we moved. And I'm sure that was hard for him.
It forced me to kind of connect with a bunch of different people. I would be on a team for a year or 2, and then I'd be relocated to another state and have to start over again. And so that meant I had a lot of clean slates, but it also meant that I didn't have an established kind of support group. And because of that, it also made me really close with my family, because they were my constant support and my #1 fans from day one.
And it's just second nature to him now, where he just rolls in and says, this is what I've got and this is where I need to go, and he does it.
I had heard about this kid that had moved in. My first impression of Townsend is just a goofy, long kid standing on the court. He literally stole a half-court pass and went down and just tomahawk dunked it on a guy. And then they tried to inbounds the pass. He caught that pass too in the corner, turned around, nailed a 3 from the corner, and just jogged back. And I was like, I mean, this kid's like, what, 15 years old at the time. And I thought, oh, that kid's gonna be good.
But of course, in the competitive nature of sports, there's always gonna be people that are trying to put you down.
There was a guy that when I was training in Townsend, this guy would come over every time we were down there training, and he said, James, this guy will never play Division I. This guy will never play Division I.
And I'm sitting right there, and he just addresses that and he tells me that. I kind of think, well, okay, like, I appreciate you telling me that, because now it gives me a little bit of that fire, but that's not my sole drive, because I know my worth. I know I'm gonna put in the hard work.
Get up early in the morning to go practice, to stay late after practices, to do whatever he needed to do to prove that that one guy didn't know what he was talking about.
He was a big-time basketball player. Like, his sophomore, junior, senior year was putting up big-time numbers and was getting recruited. And he has such devotion for his faith. And one of the tenets of his faith is that he doesn't, he keeps the Sabbath day holy. And for him, that meant not playing basketball on Sundays.
It was definitely a time for me to develop that testimony and that faith. Just trusting that he would bless me, whether that meant it was in basketball, whether that meant I would be healthy, whether that meant I wouldn't see those blessings until the next life. I'm gonna keep training, my heart out and still play Friday and Saturday, but I just won't compete on Sundays. And so a lot of the club teams didn't like that. They wanted me to play on their teams, but they wanted me to play on Sundays if I was gonna be on their A team. Because again, the Sundays were the championship games, and they didn't think it was fair for me to come in and play, and then on the championship games, the championship days, leave.
Eventually, the concept, as the kids got better and better, and there were more of a group that didn't want to play on Sundays, we eventually just decided, what if we just created a team that didn't play on Sundays and use that as our recruiting tool?
We called it reppin' because we were repping our high schools, but then we changed the name to 6-5-4-3. If you break up the syllables, it's 6-5 for 3, because all the guys on the team, we were at least 6'5" or taller.
So everyone had an opportunity to play at point guard, wings, forwards, posts, all the different positions, and kind of develop their skills as all-around basketball players.
It's just a bunch of kids that chose to do the right thing together as a team, and if that was forego games on Sunday, if it was just being better kids than they were supposed to, they kind of banded together and did that.
But as often goes, you make choices like that. It's a faith choice, and every faith choice has consequences, good and bad, and there were some good consequences that came out of this one. You know, he kept at it, and he was at the right place at the right time when he had a great game, and Coach Pope was in the stands.
He has unbelievable belief in himself because he knows who he is, and he's okay with being who he is right now because he has a clear vision of who he's going to become. He's a very growth mindset young man, and we are super blessed to have him on our team at BYU.
He wanted to play basketball. He had an opportunity to play basketball, but he also wanted to do all these other things.
I wanted to do engineering. BYU has a great engineering program.
Even though it is pretty rare, not too many engineering athletes out there.
Talking about somebody that's really doing a very, very unique pathway outside of basketball.
My dad was a pilot in the Air Force. I thought it would be super cool to fly planes like he did. And then I kind of grew a lot, and they have a height limit for a lot of the planes that I thought would be cool to fly. And so I was like, well, shoot, I can't fly anymore. The next best thing is maybe to build planes.
It's definitely worth it if you find it interesting. It's worth the extra homework while you're on the road that no one else is doing. But what's really at the heart of all his decisions is making choices that will help him grow closer to the Lord. And I think that just makes him a happy, well-balanced person. And one of the reasons I think he's fun to be around, and he's so strong and has the ability to do engineering and athletics.
Whether it's his academics or basketball or weightlifting or whatever it may be, you can't ask for any better. I mean, he really is all in.
He connects with everybody because he cares enough to do it, right? And I think a lot of people have the capability to do that, but I think he cares enough about his surroundings where he wants people around him to be happy. He wants people around him to enjoy their time at practice and enjoy their time in meetings and on the road. And he just does a really nice job of bringing people together and connecting. And I think that's a special quality.
And that is why he is so special. Where you're like, yep, this young man is built different. He understands sacrifice and something bigger than himself and living to a standard, the three things we care about in this program. And when we see kids like that, we believe that they can become anything. And certainly he's proving that to be the case.
In my time in sports, Nike had just come out with this phrase, just do it. We always had this friction a little bit with just do it being a one-time thing. And so we modified the phrase to keep doing. Don't just do it once or twice, but keep doing it. So keep doing, Townsend.